So this morning in my Discord community, somebody asked me, hey, Stefan, can you help me? How can I price my services higher? And initially I laughed and I was like, this sounds like everybody else because everybody wants to charge higher so they can make more money. The problem is people don't actually understand how you can justify raising your prices and how you are able to actually charge more money and get clients to still buy, if not more than they would before. And so I gave an answer, but I didn't go quite as in detail as I would have liked. So I'm going to make this video to go in detail on how you can charge way more for your services. Alrighty, and it's the same methodology that I use to go from charging a couple $100 to a couple $1,000 to now hopefully soon charging around 10K per client, per product, which is incredible. Alrighty, and so here's the thing. Before we can raise our prices, we have to fundamentally understand how our prices, how do they arise? How are they made in the first place? Well, the answer is they're made up. Prices are made up based on a perception of something. Okay, so price is just a perception. And how I like to charge is not like, oh, what do I think I'm worth? Is what is the potential outcome that it can provide? And I charge a percentage of the potential outcome I can provide. For example, let's say my system has the potential to charge make them $100,000. I will charge them a percentage of that. So if I know that my system can make somebody $100,000 and it'll make them that for every year for the rest of their life, technically my service could be fucking infinite. Like it could be literally infinite money, but I would charge based on the potential. So now instead of charging like $1,000 a month, you could charge like 10, 20K up front. If now granted, you have to be, other components have to fall into place, but let's talk about these components. Okay. And this is what I wrote in the Discord. How to charge more is by providing more value. The more problems that you solve, the more money that your client makes, and then therefore the more you can charge. You can't just magically charge more. And this is the trap that most people fall into, which is, I want to make more money, so let me charge more money. Let me make my prices higher and charge more for my services. The problem is that doesn't work. You can't just magically raise your prices and expect people to comply when the value component isn't there. For example, if somebody were to go and say, hey, this Coke bottle costs $1,000, you wouldn't buy. And the same way, if you're just editing videos or you're just doing Facebook ads, you're just doing some basic service, you can't say, oh, hey, this is $100,000. Well, you can say that, but nobody's going to buy. And so the point is, in order for us to raise our prices, we actually have to raise the level of service that we do, which is a hard concept for most people to swallow because they just want to make more money. But the problem is, nobody wants to make more money by working more, which is ironic, but it is what it is. And so if you actually want to make more money, and we're going to dive into it, we're just getting started here, okay? But what I said is, like, you have to do something worth paying more for. You can't magically raise your prices. You cannot. You have to be worthy of it and earn it. So in order to raise them, you have to do something worthy of raising them. For example, let's say if right now you run a service and you offer the person this, but you know that this doesn't solve their problems. Okay, maybe this solves some of their problems, but you know, even if they use this, they still have other problems. But since you only offer this, you can't solve these problems, which may be this. I know this is weird, but just bear with me here. So you offer this, but after using this, they have these problems. And you can't solve this because you only offer this. You want to know how to charge more? Start solving this too. If you can solve both of these, you can now charge more money because you're solving more problems. And guess what? When you solve more problems, you actually get the more results. Example, let's say if you run Facebook ads, okay? And you got the client a bunch of leads, and you did really good. Now, if you work with somebody who can close good, awesome, the client makes a bunch of money. Here's the problem. What if your client can't close good? Now, your service is perceived worse because the client can't close. So imagine if you solve the problem of them closing. The perceived likelihood of achievement of your thing working goes up because you take more control, you bear more responsibility. Which means that there's a higher likelihood that you and your clients will succeed, because when you take more ownership of what you do, you are more likely to succeed because it's in your hands. And if you're the expert in your field, you should be able to deliver. And so in this scenario, if we solve for more problems that will make it so from A to Z, we control all the variables, we control them internally, it's our decision if they're good or not. So for example, when you just get them leads, you don't determine if they close. If you close for them, you don't do that, but if you train them sales or get a closer, you now control all the variables, which means that it's up to you to make them more money. And if you can uphold your end of the deal and you can make them more money, you can grant charging more money because you control more variables, and you then can ensure the outcome, which will be success for the person or more money or whatever you offer. Now, I know we're getting ahead here, but let's boil it down simply. Okay? Simply put, if you right now offer just this, but you understand in order for your service to actually be good and make sure that for all of the clients you work with, it works, you also have to offer this. Find a way to offer this to solve this problem too. So let's say the problem is leads, but then after you get the leads, the problem is sales. Find a way to solve both. And now, not only do you control more variables, you increase the perceived likelihood of success because you own them, so it's in your court, and you now can charge more. And so the moral of the story is if you make your clients more money by solving more problems and providing more value, you will get paid more because you get paid in direct accordance to how many problems you solve and how much value you give. So the simplest answer to raise your prices is to do more, solve more problems, take more responsibility and ownership so you can own more variables, because the more variables that you own, the higher likelihood of success that there will be. The probability is higher because you own it. So, if you want to charge more, simply go out there and solve more problems. That's the easiest way to charge more. Now, there is a contingent, is that to solve more problems, we need to be good at solving those problems, which means we need to have a based fundamental skill set. So most people cannot charge more because they don't have the skills to charge more. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Most people will be capped because they don't have the skills. And so in order for you to charge more, you have to be worthy of somebody to charge more, which means you have to know and learn the skills. Yes, it takes work on your end. It does. But then forever you'll get paid more. So if you want to charge more, increase your skills, offer more things, solve more problems, eat up more complexity. There's a great piece of content put out by Sam Evans called Eat Your Customers' Complexity. I highly recommend you guys go watch it. It's on YouTube. Eat Your Customers' Complexity. And he talks about how whenever there's a complexity that your customers, your clients have, eat it. Solve it yourself. Figure out a way that you can own that problem and take responsibility and solve it. Your clients can't close leads, solve it. Your clients can't call leads, solve it. Your clients suck at servicing, solve it. Your clients don't have a good script, solve it. Your clients don't have a good CRM to manage leads, solve it. Your clients don't know how to communicate properly, solve it. Your clients don't know how to manage a team well, solve it. Your clients don't get enough qualified leads, make them a VSL. Solve it, solve it, solve it. Eat the complexity. If there's anything in your service at all that is not perfect or is not ideal or makes your customer have to do more than they should or makes anything reliant on the customer, eat it. Figure it out and fix it yourself. Eat the complexity. Because you will, one, be able to charge more, and you will, two, increase the likelihood of success because you take on more variables. And when you take on more ownership and control, the ball is in your court. So yes, you can fail, and you could fail, but there's also a higher likelihood that if you're good at what you do, you're less likely to fail, and you get better results. When you get better results, we all know what happens, you get paid more. So simply put, the easiest way to start charging more money is figure out what other problems your clients have, learn the skills to solve those problems, and then offer those solutions along with what you currently do. And that is how you can go out there and charge a lot more money. Like I said, you have to justify charging more money by actually being worthy of it. You cannot just increase the price of your service and expect everybody to comply. That's not how this works. You charge based on potential outcome. The potential outcome times the probability of success of what you could make them. So if you could make somebody $1 billion and they believe that you could make them $1 billion, they would have no problem paying $1 million. The thing is, most people do not have the skill set to know how to make a company $1 billion. Therefore, they cannot charge $1 million.